justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Sisson.
Here.
Garrell.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Here.
Huffman.
Here.
Hughes.
Present.
Garcia.
Here.
Holloway.
Here.
Kellenberger.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. With it being May, I get to make some proclamations here. The first proclamation is for National Police Week. To recognize National Police Week 2025 and honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. There are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Litchfield PD. Since the first recorded death in 1786, there are currently more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States that have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. National Police Week will be observed this year, May 11th to 17th. May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half staff. Therefore, be it resolved that Litchfield City Hall will observe May 11th to 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in the city of Litchfield and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. So if we could, a round of applause for all of our officers. All right, next proclamation I get is for EMS Week. To designate the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Emergency Medical Services is a vital public service, and the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. It is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore I, Mayor Jacob Fleming, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week. So thank you to all the service responders. And last but not least, we have a proclamation for Building Safety Month, May of 2025. Whereas the city of Litchfield is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of those buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure safe building and construction. Whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our code officials who assure us safe and sustainable and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And now therefore I, Mayor Jacob Fleming, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Building Safety Month. So one more round of applause for this. And then with that, we got a quick, I'll give you my update here. One thing you'll note if you looked at the agenda is I noted this as the city update. Used to be called the mayor's update. I think it's important that we're a team here. So going forward, I encourage council members, if they have something they're doing in the community, to let me know, and you are more than welcome to speak during this piece, because once again, we're a team. It's not my report, it's our report. And building off of that, the city is also, when we post our agendas, the packets that the council get, the public's gonna get on our website. Why not? If you care enough to read the packets our council gets, we want your feedback. So going forward, The next meeting, you guys will see our full packet, the same packet the council gets. So transparency is a big goal for this group, and we're working together. Next, this is a big one, Dave Crocs in the back. Our street crews have finished the spring cleanup. I want to give them a round of applause. Great job with that. And Dave, how much stuff did you move?
Well, a lot. And we're done.
And our lake crews did.
We're done as of
Heather,
lunch
your
today, so
group.
if you got any trash sitting around now, it's gonna have to wait till the fall month. We picked up 150 truckloads, over 1,000 cubic yards, and it took 680 man-hours to do that, so that's a lot, if you put that in perspective of what it would cost an individual. So I'd like to say hats off to my guys too. I mean, they did a bang-up job. They handle everything from crap to China, you know,
It's all over the place. And also, I want to say, Dave, Heather Bell and her crew helped as well, correct? The
That's
lake crew.
correct,
So-
they did.
So big shout out, one more round of applause for that. And it's not over, Dave. Brush pickup for the public will begin Tuesday, May 27th. Now, with that brush pickup, you can't put that out to the curb until May 20th. So you can put out, you know, certain yard refuge and twigs, that kind of thing. And also the public, if they're not aware, you can come out to the city by the lake. We have a place where you can burn and drop off those year round, correct, Grant? So just keep that in mind. Brush pickup will start May 27th. Do not put the brush out before the 20th, or you could be cited for a code violation, right? Please wait till the 20th to put that brush out. And the last thing, this is one that's kind of been a habitual hot button topic for Litchfield. I wanted to talk to the public because it came up again. There's been some online conversations about, is it legal or not to ride a golf cart in the city of Litchfield? We had a referendum. The people of Litchfield resoundingly said no, and we said no to untitled golf carts. It turns out the state of Illinois has a slow-moving vehicle license. If you buy one of those titled golf carts, you are allowed, if you follow the state rules, to drive them in certain roads for slow-moving vehicles in Litchfield, Illinois. So I just want to make that clear. Mike, is that a pretty good explanation?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Anything that is titled and licensed by the state has decided that that vehicle is safe for the streets, certain streets. So yes, that's pretty spot on.
All right, just wanted to get the word out there. And then now it's time for our public participation. Diana Long, if you want to come up to the mic, and you have 3 minutes.
I'd like to just take your time, and I appreciate everyone to listen, what I have to say. But I am just here to express my concerns in regarding Lake Lowry Equestrian Camp Park and all other camp parks at our lake. I have been a lifelong camper at Litchfield. I lived here all my life. I was one of the first campers that was at the bicentennial when that opened. With that being stated, I spend my week's vacations here in Litchfield. I spend it out at our lake. Yes, I do pay the money to camp at my own lake. With that being stated, I have been addressed by several of family and friends that they won't be camping with us because the prices are horrible. The fees are from last year $35 to this year $45. That is with electric and water. Primitive is from 12 to 25 with nothing. There is one spigot in that area. Holidays, we all know that that's up to 50. And in my opinion, that is just horrible. These prices are subject to privately owned parks or campgrounds. I have looked into that. Also, removal of our camp post. We have no camp post out there any longer. There's no delivery of wood. There is no person to come around and say, hey, everything okay? It was something that's needed. No one out there to collect fees. for the campers. You are just there. Call, take my money, and you can camp and leave. Also, city-owned campgrounds, I have looked into, between $20 to $35 a night, depending on the amenities that they have.
Diana, you have 30 seconds left.
Okay, also have had other individuals express their thoughts and their concerns on this. I believe that this is just something that your census in the campgrounds are going to be very, very low this year. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Thank you for taking the time to come in. It's definitely something we'll monitor. We'll look at the data, and thank you for coming in. And if you wanna talk to, Heather back there, you can at any time, and then Robin is the lake liaison, so thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And then next, we have the swearing in of, Alexander Rogers as a police officer. Hop on up, my friend.
Alrighty, first, thank you for letting us, do these ceremonies in public. We greatly appreciate it. We've done a lot of them over the last several years, and, we've been very fortunate to recruit some highly skilled individuals, and we certainly hope that continues to be true. Alexander's coming to us from the Pana area. He's been working as a dispatcher for that department for a period of time. He recently obtained his associate's degree as he works towards this initial goal in his career right here. So we certainly hope he's excited. We are very much excited to add him to our police department and to watch him grow in his the initiation of his career. Being that it is Police Week, it feels appropriate just to indicate that within law enforcement, we can celebrate officers, we can remember those who made an ultimate sacrifice, but we cannot do so without remembering their families that stand as their support system. And I think he's doing really well, because this entire row and part of the back row is what I would define as his foundation. We just want to assure families, our own, who have been in with us for a very long time, and the ones that are jumping into a career that sometimes is a dangerous thing, and we know that, we accept it, but we will do our very best to make certain that every single member of our police department comes home safe every single night. So, just want you to know that. So, now we'll go. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving on, we'll need a motion to accept the special and regular meeting minutes from May 1st, 2025 meeting. Alderman Gerald makes a motion. Can I have a second? Huffman, seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Garcia. Hughes. Huffman. Zumwalt. Darrow. Sisson.
All right, motion carries. we'll need a motion to approve the expenditure report and payroll report for the current period. Can I get a motion for that? Alderperson Huffman. Alderperson Holloway seconds. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Garrell.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Hughes.
Motion carries. Alderman Hughes, you're first up.
All right, I'm very excited about this motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance amending chapter 115, food establishments of the municipal code to amend regulation governing food trucks.
All right. Got a second from Alderman Holloway? All right, I'll open the floor discussion. Would you like to lead off?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm really excited about, this particular ordinance. So we had I know, conversation began about probably a year ago, and I know different ones of us had met. I know Alderman Girl and I particularly had talked about this at quite some length. Met with some of the food truck establishments to talk about some of the barriers that were making it more difficult for them to bring their food trucks into town. So what we've done is we've lowered those barriers to make that a lot easier for food trucks to come into this community. You know, we want to encourage the free market and the competition to come into the community. That's good for everybody. It makes it easier for getting them to events. This lowers the fee significantly. There's still a $25 fee, but that fee is for handling and processing paperwork more than anything else. Outside of that, other regulations that have been in place in terms of where they can be, and some of those are still in place. But there was, I think, 14, 15 pages worth of packet information that had to be filled out previously. That is now streamlined down to a couple of pages, which is pretty standard for most cities that I looked at as we did comparable, comparisons between those. So this is a huge win, I think, for our community. I think it'll encourage more of these guys to come in. I know, I'm grateful. I know, like I said, Alderman Girl and I had a lot of conversations. Mayor Fleming as well. We had some, Alderman Zumwalt. So there were a lot of these discussions that happened over the space of a year. And I just want to give a shout out to Dwayne, especially across the board there, for all of his help in that too. So that is my thoughts on this.
Was there any highlights of what's changing, Brianne, just outside of the pricing?
The pricing is changing, the application itself has changed. You no longer need to report your location to the mayor's office. Same locations are allowed. If you are on private property and we receive a complaint, the city does have the right to verify that you have written consent from the owner. I do want to note that for our brick and mortars, they still are not allowed within 150 feet of your facility without your written permission. So we are still keeping that safeguard in for our local restaurants.
Unless there is a special event, right? There's certain exceptions for like a
Correct.
special event.
If it's part of a city-sponsored special event, yes, or if it's a special event, in which the people, sponsoring have obtained permission.
Perfect. Any further discussion from the council?
I have a question. If they violate this, is there any kind of repercussions that will be sent to them or whatever? In other words, if they park closer than 150 feet,
Yes, they could be issued a citation of up to $750 per offense per day, just like any other code violation.
But they would first be given the option to
Absolutely.
pick up and.
Yes. We would ask them to relocate, explain the regulations, work with them, and then if for some reason they refuse to comply at that point in time, we would consider issuing a citation.
Josh, I applaud you and all your work that you did. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I think it's gonna be great because the more options you can give the people, the better, right? It's part of the free market, so, to drive some prices down, hopefully, maybe we'll see that back. So kudos to you, Josh, for your work.
And I think the sales tax from those food trucks, if their home office is based out of Litchfield, that does go to the sales tax here.
And a huge shout out to, Bree and Mike did a lot of work on this too. Mike wrote the legal piece of this ordinance too, so we wanna this has been a group effort, and I'm just really excited about what we were able to do together, so.
Good job, everyone. I think we're ready for roll call. What do you think? Roll call, please.
Zumwalt. Aye. Hughes.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Garrell.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
All Next up, Alderman Garcia.
Have a motion to approve the ordinance approving a third term extension addendum to an agreement between the city of Litchfield and the Henderson Water District for the sale of potable water.
All right, we got a motion, does anyone want to second that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
I'll take, Alderman Sisson had her hand up, beat you a little bit there, so I'll take Alderman Sisson second. Let's open the floor discussion. Anyone want to discuss this item?
Just a little bit, we have things in place now that this will be a, money-making project now, right?
Yes. And we are, yes, we were, losing, last year we lost about $22,000 servicing Henderson Water District. We have adjusted the rates. If they used about the same amount of water last year as they did this year, we profit about $20,000, which would go toward our water system that they utilize. We are going to do an across-the-board rate study, and in this agreement, it does stipulate that their rates would match that of other water districts depending on the results of the rate study.
And we're still trying to sell more water, right? I mean, we would like to have other
Absolutely.
communities come in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is part of an enterprise fund, so we can't be losing money on an enterprise fund, so that's a big priority for the city to
Yes, absolutely.
ride the ship there, so.
Not only can you not be losing money on an enterprise fund, you are, according to the statute, supposed to be banking money to help save for a rainy day when something breaks, or to continue to do maintenance, or what have you,
Yep.
so.
Great point, great point. Any further discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Sisson.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Garrell.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Motion carries. Alderman Garrell.
I make a motion to award a bid to Harris Plumbing and Heating to install 2,300 feet of 6-inch water main on Jackson Street from Sargent Street to Tyler Street and Columbia Street, from Jackson Street and State Street to Harris Plumbing for the amount not to exceed $367,715.
All right, we got a motion from Alderman Garrell. Does anyone want to second that motion? All right, Alderman Garcia seconds. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, roll call please.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Garrell.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Alderman Kellenberger.
Make a motion to approve an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a development agreement for a project in TIF number 2 with Eric and Megan Hyam for 606 State Street and other actions related thereto.
All right, we got a motion from Alderman Kellenberger. Do we have a second? Second from Alderman Garrell. Any discussion on this item? Roll call please.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Garrell.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Hughes.
All right, motion carries. Next year, we'll need a motion to enter into executive session as under the Illinois Open Meetings Act as found in chapter 5 of the Illinois Compiled Statutes, section 120, to address these certain and restricted, items. Brianna, I'm gonna let you read off those items.
Sure. This is the discussion, this is the, setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by public body, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, litigation when an action against affecting on behalf of the particular public body has been filed or is pending. Also, we have the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, all covered under 5 ILCS 122, C2, 6, 11, and 1.
Someone wanna make a motion to go into closed session? I'll make the motion. Alderman Hughes, seconded by Alderperson Zumwalt. Roll call please.
Holloway.
Aye.
Garrell.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Kellenberger.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
There will be no action after.
All right, you guys got